Hi everyone, it's Julie from Camelia Crafts Designs. I've got a little flip book for you today, or journal insert, or folio, or whatever you want to call it. It's this. It measures 6 inches high by 3 inches wide, and at the moment it's about not even a quarter of an inch in depth. And I've designed mine to use as an insert for a journal, but you can use it as a standalone little folio, which would be perfect for some happy mail or snail mail. Right, you've probably seen this style before. It's quite simple, and it's just a little flippy accordion style. We've got some extra little flips and flaps on back. We've got spots for journaling. We've got little tuck spots. I've got a little extra piece there. We've got pockets in the top. One there. Then we have another one there. If I fold it all the way out, you can see the whole of that piece together. Yeah, it's quite simple, quite easy. You can make it as complicated as you wish by decorating it however you wish. You can make it with any 12x12 sheet of paper or any 4 sheets of 6x6 paper. You could even make it with 8x8. In fact, you could make it with any size paper. You would just end up with a slightly different finished project. Right, so that's the decorated one. This is it before I decorate it. It looks very different, doesn't it? Very easy, very simple. And I'll make one of these with you, and then we'll do some of the decorating. So, put that to one side. This is the paper I chose. I've used my Tim Holtz papers, the ones that are already for separate images on a 12x12 sheet. So they are in effect 6x6 papers, but they come joined together. So I'm just going to cut mine apart. I'm not even going to get my trimmer out because I can't be bothered. So yeah, you could call this a no measure, no score, no big chopper trimmer project, if you're lazy like me. Or I might do a combination at 2. So I've cut that in half. I can then get my trimmer out if I've not lost it. Trimmer, where have you gone? Oh, I'm so bad at losing things. Here we go. It's because I store things on the floor and the desk being so tiny. And then I'm just going to cut these ones in half with trimmer. To be honest, it's harder to see the join between the 2 sheets of paper. I'm not measuring. I mean, if anyone's had these Tim Holtz papers before, you'll know they don't always measure exactly 12 inches. I don't know why, they just don't. So I'm just cutting along the factory line that's there between the 4 images. Yeah, so I've basically now got 4 sheets of 6x6 paper. It could just as easily be 8x8 papers, as I've said. Right, so that's your cutting done. Now have them all the right way up, and the next thing we're going to need to do is fold them all in half. I'm not even going to bother using my scoreboard. Just fold them. I've got the prettiest side on the outside, and then just come in, give them a quick score with your bone folder. Whee. Right, you could, as well with this project, you could make it larger. I've shown you one that I've made with 3 of these sheets, and then I've used another one of the sheets to make pockets and a flip out. You could just keep going on forever with this project, and I'll show you what I mean as we put this next one together. Right, so I've now got 4 pieces of paper all folded in half. How quick, easy and simple was that? Now I'm going to put one of them to one side because I want one of them to make my, if I get this back out, to make that pocket, and that little flip out. This extra one, I'll be truthful now, I lost those 2 pieces. I put them to one side and I lost them. And I thought, oh, I just need some flip outs. I'm flipping fed up. So I grabbed a Tim Holtz Journal card and made that flip out. And I grabbed this specimen card that was already in my stash, and I made that flip out. So I've ended up with more flip outs than I were going to have. But you can do that. I'll show you how. Right. So one of those is going to be flip outs. I'm looking at these pieces that I've got. Some of them are the same pieces I made my other one from. Some are different because I've mixed them all up. Let's bring you the others in. I've got some others here. Oh no, that's the That's my prototype too that I made. Here we go. Here's my others. Oh, I can be a bit blonde. Yeah, so I've got quite a lot of these. I went ahead and cut all my Tim Holtz 6x6s up. Yeah, so if I don't like these, I can swap one out. I'm going to be brave and use the one with the insects on. I think I'll use that for my flip outs, because I can always cover the insects up that I don't like. Yeah, so I'll keep that to one side for my flip outs. Oh, I don't think I want to use Grumpy Fella, shall we? They're always so grumpy, aren't they? And everyone comments about me calling these people grumpy. Yes, I know in Victorian times it took them such a long time to take a photo that they had to stand for a long time. But surely they could have sat there with a smile on the face, yeah? Mind you, that might have looked freaky. Anyway, I digress and I've got into waffle mode. So grab your 3 pieces. I'll just use those. Just use what you've got, woman. Stop faffing. That's going to be my piece that I'm going to use for my flip outs and my pockets. Now these 3 pieces, if I go to this one, this is the prototype that's undecorated, you can probably see exactly what we've done here. That is 2 of these sheets. Oh yeah, so if we grab 2 of these sheets and just pop them like that, yeah, that's that, isn't it? Sorted. Yeah. Now where does the other one go? The other one is on the back there, and it's got 2 little half moons cut out. So I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 little half moons out of this 3rd sheet. I'll do it now, then I won't forget which sheet I'm using for what. I mean, you don't have to do this, but I like to put these little half moons in when I'm putting a tag in. And if you're an inker, that's your time to ink that. It's the easiest way. You can do it later. There's always a way around anything, isn't there? Or is it no mistakes, just different ways of doing things? So I'll just ink that bit. You could ink it all now, but I can't be bothered. Some of that paper's just shot down my top. There we go. We didn't need it there irritating, did we? Right, so we're going to get to this point now. So I'll bring my 3 pieces back. So I think I'm going to have shall I have Grumpy Bugger on front? Yeah, well, I've Grumpy Bugger on front. So I'm going to hold him like that in my left hand. Then I'm going to take this piece here that I've put the 2 half circles in, and I'm going to insert that there. Yeah? And that then becomes my 2nd page and my 3rd page. So what I've got to do is just glue this side to there. I'm going to go ahead and just ink the top of that, that'll be easier done, and I'm going to glue this part to that part. I hope you can see what I mean. And the way I'm going to do it is like this. I'm going to put it underneath, I'm going to fold it into where I actually want it, and I'm going to check if it all lines up. You know, because I've cut these by hand, it might need a little bit a sliver taken off top or bottom. Then I'm going to hold that still while I come in with my glue that I never put pin in, so it's probably not going to work until I've stabbed it a few times. Ooh. Oh, do it, woman. Just clean your glue out. I'm terrible. Yeah, there's plenty of ways to remember to put your glue in, your pin in your glue, but I'm never going to use any of them, so no point using them. Right. Now I'm going to put glue down there just before the crease. I don't want it to go onto the crease. As thin a bead of glue as you can manage. The thinner the bead of glue that you can use, the more area you've got inside that pocket to put a tag. It don't want to come out very well, this. It's still a bit blocked. Swap to your other one, see if that works any better. Oh dear, look at that. Reason 26 to put your pin in your glue. It all came out at once. Whee. This one just does come out quicker anyway. It's much harder to control. I don't know why. I think it must have a slightly wider tip. Now, I've been doing it that long, that one's dried. Ooh, look how wonky that is. Anyway, I'm now going to fold that in. This is how I make sure that I'm not gluing it too close to the crease and that things won't fold up. There we go. That's that done. Now I'm just going to check the back for any glue that's seeped out, just to rub it away. There we go. So that is my front page. That's now my second page, and I'm going to use this other piece, my birdie piece, to tuck under there. There you go, and make that piece. I didn't realise back of that were blue. I might have to cover it up. I don't know if I'm happy with that being blue. We shall see, we shall see. So now I'm going to glue that piece to that piece to make another pocket. So I'm going to do it like so. Fold that in. Yeah, everything seems to line up nicely. Then I'll hold that while I fold that out just to put my glue on. So down that side. I did that easy, didn't I? Along the bottom and just short of the crease. Yeah, this glue bottle, the glue is coming out of here really fast. I don't know if it's something to do with heat here, but it's coming out a lot faster than it normally does. It's really weird. I don't know. So my pockets might be a little bit smaller than intended because I've been a bit messy with my glue. So fold that over. This is how I do it so I don't forget what's been glued to what. Then we should have, let's check the back, get rid of any glue squidgage. I'll just grab my bit of kitchen towel for that. But I'm going to ink over that anyway, so you won't see it. There we go, that's my glue squidgage sorted. Can't say that word, so I'll stop trying. If you look, that's not perfectly lined up. I think with me doing hand cutting, that bit was slightly bigger. So I'm just going to come in, grab my big scissors. Yeah, I'll do it this way. Yeah, in fact, you can see there's a little white line. That will probably just the top of the paper pad. That was slightly longer than the 12 inches. And there you go, that's done. There you go. Now grab my dabber, put a bit of ink on it. Job's a good one. So we've now got to that point that I showed you. So if I bring in that prototype, we have now got the exact same thing. Turn that one over, turn that one over. They're exactly the same. Now, you can make this an even bigger book than mine. That is the size of my book. That is what these two will get you. If you want to do an even bigger book, you can go further with this. If I take that and place it there, I could make another pocket, and then I could have a much wider, much bigger book with even more flips. So that would be that, and that would flip. Those two would be glued, so they would flip. It would flip again, then we're back to the front. It is never ending then, it just keeps going on and on and on. It's a bit like me when I'm nagging at kids. On and on and on and on. And it just keeps going. Yeah, so for now, I am just going to decorate one of them. But I do think I may join them together at some point. I don't know. I don't know, shall we? I'm going to decorate this one that I glued together first because the glue is all dry. I've got a little bit of damage there at the top from it coming out at paper pad. It's very annoying when that happens, Timothy, very annoying. Right, so I hope you understood that, and I hope you understand how you can make it an even bigger book if you want to. I'm quite happy for now with that section. Plus the video would perhaps take about 3 years if I were to just keep adding pages. Right, so that's going to be my front. Now remember this piece that we put to one side at the beginning? I said we're going to be using that to make pockets and the flip at the back. So I'm going to make a pocket here. So this I'm going to cut in half. Be brave and do it with your scissors if you want to. I'm going to get my trimmer out. I've had enough at scissors now. Now I want to cut these down to slightly less than half. So I'm basically, another reason I like to still score it, I'm going to cut off the score. So this is, it's like a 1/16 of an inch under 3 inches. Like so. And I'll show you what I'm left with when I've cut it off. So we've got just a 1/16 of an inch under 3 inches. There we go. And I'm left with that bit. So I've cut that bit off. Just a little bit more than the score line. And I'm left with that. Leave your chopper out, woman, you need it. So I've got to decide which piece wants to be a pocket there which piece I want to use for a pocket on the front and which piece I want to use for this little flip out. So I'm thinking I'm going to use this. I don't like this bit, I just really don't. So I think I'm going to use that for my pockets, then I can stick a label over that. I like that bit at bottom with that 45 cents. That will look really good in the bottom corner. So I'm just going to cut that in half. And to be honest, I did not measure it. I put my piece of paper in and I looked at a point that looked good. And I think that's going to look good. I'm going to cut it. I'll cut it there. Yeah. So we've got the whole of that spider in. Some of that's got cut off, but that don't bother me. That looks a bit wonky, to be honest. I think I didn't hold it properly in my trimmer. Let's check. Yeah. So I've lost a tiny bit more because I didn't cut it straight. But hey ho. Things like that happen, don't they? Just cut it down and straighten it up. And that's then going to be my other pocket. So now I need to decide which is going to be on the front page and which is going to be on the inside of the front. I don't know, I might like that on the front. I really might. And by cutting it down to just slightly less than the 3 inches, it's not going to interfere with any of these creases when we go flipping and flapping. And that one, is that upside down? I really don't know. It's such an icky piece of paper. Sorry, Tim. And yeah, I'm going to put that one on the inside. Yeah, I can cover most of those up. And I'll put that one on the outside. So all I've done is I've come in and I've used my small corner rounder. And I've just rounded the bottom corners of the pockets. Like so. Oh, I'm going to do it to my book as well. Just the outer edges that are a single sheet. I'm just using my small corner rounder. You could round the others if you want to. I don't personally like that look so much, so I don't do it. So yeah, they're rounded. And I'm going to stick, so that one going to be inside, yeah, that's going to be inside, and I think I'm going to put the bigger pocket on the outside, yeah, like that. So again, I'm going to come in with my 1-inch punch and just punch a little semicircle. I'll then come in and do the inking on this. There we go. I know we've had this discussion recently. Some people like inking, some don't. And then I'm going to glue this on. So I'm going to hold it with the side that don't want glue. I'm really glad I've got into that habit, or I would be in trouble often. I might swap to my Marley Arts glue because it's very warm today, and I don't know if this has got a bit of a volcanoing problem going on or not. I don't know. I don't really know. So I'm going to put that on. I've sort of centered it a little bit. Just move it over a touch. There we go. So that's my front pocket. I'm now going to do the same with this one. A little semicircle at the top. Put lid on your ink, put lid on your ink. Don't make a mess, woman. Another little semicircle. Ink this. I ink the outside of the book all at once. Because sometimes I get carried away inking bits that you're never going to see, and it's a waste of time and ink, isn't it? It really is. Right, where's your Marley Arts glue, woman? Is it on your desk, or have you had it downstairs? I did try and do a bit of crafting downstairs earlier on in the week when it were really hot, but I just weren't feeling it. I don't know, I've lost it. Oh, here it is. It's there. It were right under my nose. So, try it, Marley Arts. That's blogged up as well. This is what happens when you have a couple of days off crafting. There you go. And it's only been 2 days that I've not been in my craft room. And everything's gone rusty and seized up. Hecky thump. Yeah, I'm able to get a much thinner line with this now. Whee. There we go. And that is going to go on there. Love it. So, show you, that's where we're at now. So now I've got to decide what I'm going to decorate this flap with and what I'm going to decorate this with. Now, I really don't like that. What are they there's a name for them and I've totally forgot what they are. I'm not really good at remembering botanical names. It's just something that I just can't do. Right, I'm going to grab some labels. I've got my Tim Holtz labels here. I'm also going to grab my Tracie Fox labels. Here we go, Tracie Fox labels. I'm getting good at pausing now and remembering to keep it going. I'm going to take the whole lot out of this plastic tub because it's so dark here with storms. I've had to put my light on and it can reflect really badly. So yeah, I'm going to use some of these. These are, that's an older one of Tracie's, I think, with the butterflies, but I only got it recently. Yeah, these are the botanical labels. Yeah, botanical labels, really hard to remember, that woman, isn't it? And I want to put one of these on the front. Let's move that out of the way. I want one as my focal point. I don't want blue. What do I want? Oh, I like that. I like the bee. I'm going to use the bee. Yes, that green is a little bit bright for me liking at minute, but we'll easily sort that out with a bit of ink. So, yeah, I really like these. It's mad as well. I didn't even know Tracie had released these labels. I just decided that I wanted some nice botanical labels for my botanical journal. And these were the first things that came up on Etsy. And I'm like, wow, they're perfect. And she'd only released them the day before, which I found were quite spooky. As you know, I don't buy a lot of digitals at the minute. I fell out with my printer, but I'm a little bit happier with new printer. So I've got that. And I'm going to layer up some labels. I got this idea from Marley, Marley Design. Is her name Marley's? I'm not sure. She's one of those on Tim Holtz design team. And I watched one of her videos where she was making little label clusters for a journal she was making. And I just loved it. Mine are nothing like hers. Oh, shit. Hers were amazing. Using lots of labels, pieces of labels, scraps off a desk. Yeah, this is like a lazy version of them. Yeah, I really want to cover that up. Lotus flower seeds, that's the one. Can't stand the look of them. They just give me the heebie-jeebies. And I think I might want a bit of red on for some colour. I may do, I may not. Have I got another? No, I don't want a botanical red. I may have one. I've got a little tub here of ones that I made myself. I've also got my Tim Holtz labels out. I'm just going to grab a little handful. Because like I said, I don't want these big plastic glary things on screen. Oh, I like that. Yeah, I'm just loving this layering of labels. I want a long thin one now. Is there one in here? This is another set of Tracie Fox labels. I'm not sure what this is called. Ooh, identification. I like that. I'm going to stick that on the bottom of there. So it's like I've made the little layered cluster up before sticking it to the front of my pocket. So I want that. There, I might put a bit much glue on, so I'm just going to touch that down a bit to hopefully not have so much. Yeah, I've had a lot of questions lately about my printing and my printer and paper I print on. And I've got a really cheap Canon printer that cost me, it were actually with 30 quid in Canon sale, down from 50 in January. It's not a spectacular one. But one thing I did look for when I bought it was one that I could get compatible inks for from Amazon that were not going to break the bank. And tend to find that's a little bit easier to do with Canon. I have had a Epson Eco Tank and I fell out with it. It just weren't for me. Weren't for me. Well, I'm liking that. So that's going to go about there. I'm conscious that I did put some glue on back. Let's just stop it rolling away. And I just want something a little bit red. And I'm thinking I might put that up there in that space. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So I'll glue out back of that up now. I'm happy. I seem to have gone back to art glitter glue, which is coming out too fast. Yeah, I'll put that there. I want the 45 showing on the 45 cents because I've now decided that can cover that lotus flower up that I really don't like. I'm just going to lift that up to see if it's straightish. It's as straight as it needs to be, isn't it? And then I'm going to pop that one up in corner. Yeah, just move that glue out of the way and use your Bailey Arts, woman. There we go. I like that. Let's bring the other one back. Totally different, but I like it. Right, so that's the front. Now, what I've used for my journal cards, like I've said, it's a pack of Tim Holtz journal cards. They're about £10 for a pack, but I love them because they match and they make your life easy. They come in 3 sizes. There's this size, which is 3 inches by 6 inches. Then there's this next size, which is 3 inches by, I'm guessing, 4 inches. Measure it, woman, then you don't have to guess. People want to know these things. Yeah, 3 by 4. Then there's this smaller size, which is 3 by 2. They're perfect for making pockets on these. So if you didn't want to use one of the other 6 by 6 sheets cut in half, and you had these, you could use them. But I try to make projects where you don't have to buy these things. You can use anything else. You can use any digital, any label, anything you want, and you can get the same effect. Right, and I want to cut one of these down to put in the front. I don't think I want the lavender. I don't know. That bee might like the lavender. It's got a little bit of blue on it. I don't know. Might find a nicer one. I've got nests. No, we'll save that for birds inside. Oh, I like that. I do like that because I think that black label there will look good with that in the corner. Yeah, so I'm going to cut this down now. If I go to my other journal, the one that I've already made, and I'll show you the size I cut this down to. It just fits. You can make it smaller if you want it to fit a little bit better, should you wish. Get your ruler back, woman. Nearly didn't find it because I put it away again. Just under 2.5 I've cut it to by 5.5. Yeah. Grab your trimmer. So I'm going to do the same with this. The back of that's brilliant as well. So I'm going to cut it down to just under 2.5. I think I'm going to cut a little bit off that side first. Yeah. And then I'm going to cut some off that side. We're not going to have the whole numbers left, but that's obviously not going to bother me. Yeah, that still looks good. And I want it to be just under 5.5. Just under 5.5. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, so I'm still happy with that as a journal card. And then I've got all these bits to play with when I'm layering and making bits with scraps. I'm going to round the corners. There we go. I will ink that at some point, but this is not the time. And that should fit in there nicely. It's a bit of a tight fit, so I'm just going to grab my bone folder. If you pop your bone folder in, and just, don't be too vicious or you'll rip your pocket off. Don't be like an angry baboon. Then you'll find that will fit a lot nicer. I think, do you remember that glue were a little bit glooping? I put more on than I wanted. I'm going to have to cut a little bit more off this, aren't I? Because this one is a little bit too narrow. I'm really glad I didn't ink it now, because I'd have wasted all that time. Right, let's see. This top bit here. I've really gone to town with glue, haven't I? There you go. Just manipulate it a little bit. That's it, it fits now. Yay, I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, so now the inside cover, I'll cut a journal card down the same for that. And I'm going to decorate this one. I think I want to do something similar to my prototype. And I want a label up there and some label down here. And then I can put a journal card. I use one of these smaller 4 by 3 inch ones. And it just tucked in. I did trim it, so I think I'll go ahead and trim this one. We'll trim a little bit off that side, and we'll see Yeah, that'll be fine. I won't need to lose the bird's head or anything. And I'll just re-round those corners. Then I will choose my labels that are going to hold this in. Right. These Tracie Fox labels, I've printed them on 160 GSM paper. I use a colour copy paper and colour copy card, and that really does make a difference to your printing. They come out much nicer. Oh, I like that. I want to put it under that parcel post bit. Oh, do I want... No, I don't want red. I don't want red because we've got red there. I'll stick with green. You could have some red at bottom. And do we want an insect? That's very bright and very red, but I think it balances that red out up there. I'm going to use that one so there's insects on the scene now. Right. I just cut the straight bits on the labels because it's not a bother to just cut those bits off as I use them. Right. There we go. If you feel what you've used, you know what? I think I want to cut these off. Yeah, I want to shape that label. There we go. Yeah, if you want to print it on thicker card or paper, you could always back it on something else. Yeah, I like that. And I'm just going to ink that to tone down the brightness of that green. Oh, I don't know what's making noises at me. It could be out. Could be any electronic item in the room. Yeah. So, I'm just going to glue that one at the top. I'm going to get quite a thick layer of glue. I'm doing it again. Will I ever remember to put a pin in? I'm my own worst enemy. I know I am. My eyes are that bad I can't even see to put a pin in this one. It is a very fine tip on this Bailey Arts. I think it's time to get your eyes tested, woman. You're going to need some stronger glasses, quite sadly. It happens, doesn't it? It happens. That's better. So rather than it being a thin bead, I've put quite a decent amount of glue on because I don't want the label falling off. And I've just positioned that under that label that's already there that says parcel post. So that will then tuck about that much. And I'm going to put the beetle down here. Yeah, and I'll put the beetle on by gluing down that side and along that bottom. I just had to check I'd not put pin back in. And guess what? I hadn't. Who'd have thought it? Who'd have thought it? Julie's forgot to put a pin in. If I asked you to comment every time I forgot to put pin in my bottle, I'd have 1,000 comments every video. Oh dear. Right, I'm just going to let those dry now. I mean, I quite like the look of that. They're just some random labels, aren't they? In fact, while that dries, let's slap a bit of ink on this journal card because it will look so much better when it's got some ink on. And if it's looking a bit boring, stick another label on it, stick a butterfly on it, just stick some on it. Whee! There we go. Yeah, and if there's any gaps in this video, they're staying in because I do not have time to restart or refilm anything because I'm so late getting this done with weather. Oh, do you know, because I've glued them on the side, he's now too wide. See, I've wasted ink. One of these days I'll learn not to tempt fate. I've only just said that I'm not going to edit this video and I ran out of memory, so I'm going to have to join two bits together. So you've not missed anything. I was just cutting that down to size one time. I was cutting that down to size and I've stuck it in, and I was just starting to waffle about what to do on here. I decided I don't want another Tracie label on because that's too many Tracie labels on one page. I think what I do want is I want another little pocket. Yeah, let's have an extra little pocket to tuck something in. And I think I'm going to put a bird on it. I'm going to grab a couple of birds from my Tim Holtz. I've got a pack of Tim Holtz ephemera here. It's one of the later ones. What's it called? Layers. Layers Organic, and there are some birds in it. There we go. I just want one at birds that faces, well, I don't know, it doesn't really matter what weight bird faces, does it? Oh, we've got a dragonfly, or whatever we've got, but use anything. Use any fussy cut you've got. You don't have to have the Tim Holtz ones, or use them if you like them. I think I'm liking this yellow bird I can see in the bottom of the pack. I promise not to bring the plastic over to glare, didn't I? These are a bit shiny, so these might glare. Oh, I like him. He looks good. I think he looks good with having the other birdie there. Yeah, we can stick a bird on the insects. So I'm just going to ink around edges. Just get rid of that stark whiteness. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Yeah, and I'm going to make him into a little tuck spot by gluing him on. I'll glue his tail and his branch and his beak. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Julie, put your pin in. If I annoy anyone with this, I assure you I annoy myself more. So a little bit of glue on the beak. It still don't want to. Still don't want to come unstuck. I lost my long pin for my Burley Arts glue. And trying to find long stainless steel pins is like, yeah, finding hen's teeth. It's bad enough finding other length ones. I don't even know if I need a long one. So I tried one of them entomology pins. You know, the ones that you stick butterflies to a board with or whatever, you know, for the displays. And it's not bad. I think it might be a little bit thin. Right, there we go. We'll have you at a slight angle, mate, because then you'll look good. And then you can become your own little tuck spot when you dry, can't you? There we go. So I'll find something to tuck in. What do I want to tuck in? I'm just going to grab again another piece of Tim Holtz Ephemera. I've got lots of these little labels from different packs. We've got some slightly bigger ones in here. This pack is the Field Notes Snippets. Could we put one of those in with flowers? Oh, I like that. Or butterfly. Oh, I like the butterflies better. Yeah. And I'll just ink the edges of that up. Whee. If I had more time on my hands, I wouldn't buy Tim Holtz Ephemera. Sorry, Tim. I'd just buy more and fussy cut them. But it takes me too long. It's really a time saver for me. It is. So sorry, Tim. It's a case of why have a dog and bark yourself if buying Tim Holtz. And I've got to be honest, I have had such a lot bought in Happy Mail from people, and I can't thank you enough. Right, so that's that page done. Right, let's flip over. Now, on the original, I think I just decorated that with butterflies, and this is the one on which I put my flips. Let's fold that out now for decorating. Yeah. Right, I made a flip out with my other piece, didn't I? Which were this one, and I'll show you how I made this. Again, I didn't do any measuring, but I did use my scoreboard. You could do it without a scoreboard. I keep bringing that original one back in, then I move it and lose it. I don't know where it is again. I've lost it. Just what are you doing, woman? Where have you put it? I sit in one place. I never move from my seat, so everything is within reach, and then I lose it. Here we go. Right, this bit, I'm going to make this bit now. And what I did is I just made it, can you see, so it would be a slightly larger pocket. I just put a little bit of a, I don't know what's the proper word is. It's not a gusset, is it? You'll see what I mean in a minute. So I'm going to cut this in half, and I want one part slightly bigger than the other. So we know it's 6 inches long, so I'm going to cut it at 3 1/4. There you go. So one is 3 1/4 and one is 2 3/4. So that is ½ an inch bigger than that. And what that allows me to do is score this at 1/4 inch on each side, and I'll have myself a little gusset. Score with that. So 1/4 inch there, 1/4 inch there. I'll then fold those over, and it will be the same size as that. Yeah, so then my pocket is a little bit wider. Yeah, if you don't want to measure and you don't want your pocket that wide, just cut that into 2 3-inch pieces and glue them together with a thin bead of glue. You'll just have a slightly smaller pocket, like our other pockets. I hope that made sense. Right, grab your glue that you did not put your pin in it, did you? Oh well. Right, so just glue a little bit, or use your preferred tape, whatever you use. I'm gonna throw, no, I'm not gonna throw it out at window because the glue's done nothing wrong, it's me. And I'm certainly not gonna jump out at window because I can't remember to put a pin in my glue. I will live with the consequences of not putting the pin in my glue. I just apologise that you have to live with those consequences too, because you're watching me. Right, just make sure you've got them both the right way up. So that's that way, yep. And then I'm just going to pop that on top of there. This is when the Barely Arts comes into its own. It's got more wiggle time. It takes slightly longer to dry than art glitter. So I am loving it for that. Guess what? Guess what? I didn't put pin in it. Put your pin in. Da, da, da. So that's that. Right, now I've glued it, not before. I just want to cut this down slightly because it needs to be slightly, I'm going to cut it down to 2 3/4 inches wide. So I've cut along that edge, yeah, and that's just so that when we've put it in, it's not going to stick out past the edge of our book. So I've cut that down slightly. Now I'm going to grab some washi tape. Any old washi tape will do. What we got to hand, because I might have a change from the last one I used. What's these? No, I don't want them. Yeah, you're right, I did just drop some on the floor. I think I'm going to use the same one I used last time. Oh, I found another box of washi tape. What we've got here? Oh, this is nice. I think I might use that one. Yeah, that looks good. It's got acorns, fruits and flowers and all sorts. It's botanical. Because the last one I used, to be honest, didn't stick very well and I had to do it again with glue. And it was a bit of a faff about. So, grab this. Grab your 1-inch punch. I think I'm going to have it, yeah, that way. So I'm going to punch both sides of this, make it easier to get stuff in and out. There you go. And I'll do my inking all the way around. Whee. Right, now I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue in that open side, not the one where I've put the thumb notch, the other side. It doesn't need to go all the way up, it's just so it's not going to force itself open and make a mess of our washi tape. Just a tiny bit, because I don't want to affect the depth of the pocket too much. There we go. So that's going to go that way up. Now I'm going to put washi tape on that edge. So I've got this washi tape here. 3 days later I'll find end. Which is up, that's, I think it goes all ways, it doesn't really matter that much. I'm going to have to do it slightly at an angle. Because I've made a mess at the end with my finger, I'm going to put it on higher. I want the washi tape, I want just slightly less of the washi tape stuck to it than I've got exposed. I've done it wonky. World ain't going to end, I assure you. There we go. I can live with it if you can. Right. And then that last time I glued it to that page. This time I'm going to glue it to this page. Now I want, if I just pull that back, I want the edge of my card to come just before that crease. So that's like so. And then I'm going to burnish that down now. With my, yeah, this washi tape sticks so much better than the one I used before. Yeah. Then turn that over. Then I'm going to get another piece of washi tape. This time I'm going to guesstimate how long. It doesn't matter if it's a bit short. I'm just cutting it. Which way up does that want to go? I'll put it that way. And again, I want it half of the washi tape, just under half, to go onto my card. If you've never done, what do they call these tip-ins or flip? Well, it's a flip out. But if you just put in a single sheet in a journal like this, it would be called a tip-in. Alright, we've just done it to make a little pocket. Do a little bit of burnishing, then just check it moves freely, and it does. So, I quite like that. Yeah, I got my tape wonky, but I don't think the washi tape police are coming, are they? I think they're at a function this weekend with Perpendicular Police. So, yeah, they'll not be watching. Right, so that's that. I like that little flip out. That's cute. And then I'm going to put one more little flip out at the bottom with a journal card. I'm not doing the specimen card one, because like I said, I did that because I'd lost my bits of paper. Oh, I like that. That looks good there with that being there. I know that we're going to go up front, but it might end up on inside. Yeah, I like that one. I'm going to use that one. So, I need to cut this down slightly because that is exactly 3 inches and we don't want it to interfere with this crease. So I'm going to take off about 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, can you see now? That's better. I'm going to re-round those corners and give it an ink. Whee. And then I'm going to attach this to that side in exactly the same way as I did the other. So I'll get my washi tape. There, we've got to use far too much. I don't like to use the bit I've had my sticky fingers on because it doesn't stick as well. If you're unsure if your washi tape's going to stick very well anyway, just use some glue stick on it or a bit of art glitter or whatever. Then I'm just going to pop it underneath there, and can you see I want a little bit showing so that it's not going to be too tight and not want to open. And then, oh, it's got a rabbit on that time. And I'm just going to do that bit, cut that, and again cut that. So I've got the bit that my sticky fingers were on. I could have stuck that in a bit of card and saved it, but to be honest, would I ever have found it again? Probably not. Burnish both sides again. And then that's my other flip out. That's just a little flip out. I'm going to put a little bit of brown card on there so you can journal. I will put, oh, I did a bit of stamping on. Yeah, let's do a bit of stamping. I might have to put some brown card on there, but this is the stamp I used. It's from the Tim Holtz Field Notes set. I'm going to use the same one on here. Now, I don't want it that dark, so can you see I've been using this piece of brown card to stamp off. That's still going to be very dark. So this third time is going to be what I want. There we go, I like that. Then, because I like playing peekaboo with butterflies, I'm going to grab a butterfly and stick one of those underneath it. These are just some that I fussy cut from books and some digital ones. As I always mention, there are some digital ones on my Buy Me a Coffee site. Pop over and grab them. They are free. All coffees welcome. I think I want that one on. Yeah. I'll pop you on. Yeah, that's one of my digital ones. They're not rocket science. Oh. When my memory gets better, I might do more digitals. I'm really terrible for forgetting, and it sounds really mad, but it's true. I forget how to use my graphics program between uses. I am assured that's a middle-aged woman thing, and it will get better with time. No, I don't take HRT. I can't. Other medical issues It just wouldn't be good. So I've got to be forgetful for another year or so, or maybe more. I don't know, perhaps another 5. Oh dear. Right, so peekaboo butterfly there. Did I glue that? Yeah, I did. I'm just gonna burnish that there as well. There you go. So we've got the flippy flappy one there, we've got that there. I'm going to decorate that, I think, with yet another bird, because I like these birds. I may have to get another pack of these just for birds. Timothy, if you're listening, please do a pack of just birds, because the birds are so cute. He's not going to be a tuck spot though. I think he may just be a decoration. There we go. And I can't resist only gluing him on 3 sides in case I do want to tuck something into him at a later date. There we go. We like you. You're cute. That's that. Right, this, I'm a little bit lost now as to what to do with this page, because on my prototype I just decorated it, didn't I? But I'm feeling I want to make some kind of a pocket on it, or something. I've got this pack of Tim Holtz frames. I may grab one of those. They are 3 inches by 3 inches. And if I just trim a little bit off, I think I can make one fit. Oh, I like that. Or you can make your own. I did mess about and make my own on something I did recently. Oh, I could do one of the taller ones. Oh yeah, do one of the taller ones. I like that. Yeah, but I'm going to have to trim a little bit off the sides to make this fit without interfering with anything.
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
That's all she ever says. Yeah, and I know I've got subscribers narrowing down what it is I say that triggers my Gertrude, which is what I call her, bless her. And one of the things I say is I like it, because she misinterprets it as the wake word. Right, I've just trimmed that a little bit. Yeah, that's going to fit in nicely now. I like that. These are not stickers, are they? No. Whee. I don't know what I said then, though. So if anyone wants to rewind and see what on earth I said to make that woman chirp in, I don't know. She's not very interesting lately. She didn't come up with as many random facts. She's fell out with Spotify. I don't know why. Because when I tell her to play songs from Spotify, she'll tell me she's playing them and then she doesn't. So, don't know what happened there then. Yeah, I'm going to pop that on there. And it's going to be a pocket. I'm not going to put acetate in, because I've decided you don't have to put acetate in these things. It's not necessary. Wrong glue, woman, you're using Barely Arts. You haven't put pin in that for about 3 weeks. Whee. Whee. And wee again. There we go. And do you see me shaking there? Do you see me shaking? Whee. Oh, I like that. Oh, that's pretty. Do you know, I'm thinking I might like... Oh, I've moved it. Don't move it so viciously, woman. You're not an angry baboon. What on earth was that all about? Using Barely Arts, yeah. Had that been art glitter, you see, it would have been glued by now. But we wanted that bit of wiggle time to go it in the right place. We embrace the wiggle time. It's just what you get used to, isn't it? I get used to being able to rub things off straight away, because I've had that instant grab of the art glitter. And as I was about to say, I think I'm liking this better than the other one. Oh yeah, that looks nice. So what I need to do now is make journal cards for the tops there. And all I'm going to do is grab these. 52 card pickup. Yeah, I'm going to grab some of these, and I'm going to cut them down a little bit smaller so that they fit in, and I'm going to put some tabs on top. So I will be back with you shortly when I've cut these to size. Oh, one other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting this brown paper, the brown sticker paper on the back again, and then I'm going to do a little bit of stamping on it. So I'll cut my pieces of that to size, and the size I'm cutting them to is 2 3/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches. Just 2 of them to go on these 2 sections. Yeah, so if you're following along and you're wanting to do that, just pause and get that done, because I'll be back when it's all ready. 2 3/4 by 5 3/4, and my journal cards are going to be 5 1/2 by 2 1/2. So 2 ticks, I will be back. Right, I'm back. A small amount of tidying has occurred, not too much. Right, all I've done is I've cut some journal cards down to that size I mentioned, 5 1/2 by 2 3/4, 2 1/2, and I've cut these bits down to 5 3/4 by 2 3/4. And what they are going to do is they are going to stick on these remaining 2 pieces. Yeah. If you don't want a full length piece of brown, if you saw my last video where I partly decorated things with brown paper, you can do that. I want to fully decorate that with brown paper, then I can do a bit of stamping on it. So I've cut those down, I've inked the edges, and then to stick them on, what I'm going to do is just peel it back a little bit. If you want to stamp it before you stick it on, go ahead. I just like to make my life difficult. No, I just don't know what I want to stamp on them until I see them in place. So I'm going to line those up. I've just peeled back one corner. That allows me to line it up where I want it. Then I'll stick down that corner. Then I can peel the rest off and stick it. There we go. I'm going to do the same with this one. The watch has been telling me to stand up now for about an hour, and I'm just ignoring it. I'll stand up when I've finished, mate. I will. So, peel that corner back again. And I can line those up. That looks good. And then we've got that. Now I'm just going to take my Tim Holtz text stamp, and I think I'm going to get, I don't know, do I want brown ink? I do like the faded black ink look, so I'm going to stick with my black ink, yeah? And I'm just going to pop a little bit of my stamp into my ink, and I'm going to stamp it off on this practice sheet. Then when I stamp it on here, can you see it's more faded? And then I'm just going to do that same one. There we go. The other thing I stamped on was a couple of stamps from my Tim Holtz Field Notes set. I used the flower and... Did I use the flower or the bird? I'll tell you what, I'll use bird this time and butterfly. I didn't use a stamping block. I just winged it. So I stamped it off again, and the bird there, and I'm going to do the same with butterfly, but I think I want the butterfly at the top this time. Stamp it off so it's not too dark, and there we go. And the other thing I did is I just stuck a little fussy cut on. I think I might stick... Don't know why that's ready inked. I must have not used it in the last project, but I've got a couple that are ready inked. I may put that on there. Yeah, I'll just stick this one on with... Oh, I don't want to use that purple. It's not needed. The colour of that purple is very scary when it's not needed, I do find. Grab myself a glue page. I'm using this old shopping list that I never use. I don't have a book to hand at the moment. That's gonna go there. It's just, I've fallen out with having blank pages to journal on, blank spaces. It's got to have something with it lately for me. Right, so that's those done. We're now going to come back to this. We've just got this to decorate, haven't we? That little flap. And again, that needs, I don't know, should we put a butterfly on it, what we got? Do you not want that? Oh, I like that yellow, but I feel that's a bit big. What about that one? Oh, I like that one. we'll stick that butterfly on. Let's ink him. And then last thing we've got to do is put our journal cards in. What have I just done with that glue book? Oh, woman, just stop it. I move things out of my little 6-inch space that I craft in, and it's just random. I put them somewhere random over to the side, and then when I want them again, I can't remember where I put them. It's really weird when that part of your memory that remembers what you just did is not working. The menopause has a lot to answer for. It better get better. Oh dear. Right, so that's that. I feel that needs some kind of label. I know it's got a few built-in ones, but let's... Oh, what's this? These are some of my little homemade labels. We might have one of them. Maybe a round one. I don't know. Ooh, maybe a J for Julie. Yeah, a J for Julie. Should we have it up there? No, I want it at bottom. Let's put it on with art glitter, with glue stick. Whee. I like that. J for Julie. Or junk journal. Or J for, I don't know, juniper. Right, put your stamp away, woman. Now let's grab the journal cards I cut down off camera because it would just been too boring to watch. Right, I cut this one down, and I'll tell you what size I cut it to. Made it slightly smaller. That one is 2.5. Is it? Yeah, 2.5. So I did make it same width by 4.5. Yeah, I just made it slightly shorter because that's going to go in there. Oh, nice. I used the flower one, hoping it would be framed nicely in there, and it is. Now we've got this one, and this one. One is for the front because I decided to move that one from the front to there because I like the look of that and that. So we've got to decide which one of these goes in the front. Did I put that in front of my prototype? I can't put that in front again if I put that in prototype, can I? Prototype, where's that gone? Prototype, what's prototype? Where should I put that? And clue, could be anywhere. It's gone, it's just gone. So, no, I like that. I'm going to put that one in. Yeah, oh, I like that. That looks pretty. And so then these two are going to go in the top. But before I put them in the top, I want to put a label on. And I'm going to use my new punch again, my label punch, because I can. And I think what I'm going to punch them from is some Tim Holtz scraps. I'm just scratching about in my scrap box now. I will have a Tim Holtz piece of paper scrap in it. Surely I will. What's that? Oh, that's not Tim Holtz, but I like it. It'll look good inked up. Yeah, I'm going to use that. Oh, what you've got to do is fold this before you can... Oh, look at that. No, what's that? It's the hipster bloke. No, we don't want him. Oh. Who would have thunk it takes so long to find a nice bit of card to cut up? What's that? Right, that's not Tim Holtz, but I do like that. So I'm going to fold that in half. And you put the crease up to there. Oh, it's got bits in from before. One. You could put these on all your other tags if you want. I just want them in them that are sticking out at top. And I'm going to come and attack them with ink. I'm going to resist the urge to punch a hole in and put an eyelet in it because I don't seem to be able to make one of these tabs lately without doing that. So just for a change, I'm not going to do it. Ink them to death. You'll never know what pattern that is. It matches Timmy paper. Of course it does. I think it was a, was it a Hero Arts one? No, it were, yeah, I can't remember what it were. Everyday Hero is the name of the collection. I can't remember who did it. Right. Grab your Barley Arts woman. And Even with pinning, that's still gunking up. I think my pin's too thin. Driving me doolally-wapper, it really is. There we go. So you're going to go on there. That looks nice. And this one can go on there. And then I think I've done everything. I've made this video in bits and bats throughout the day that I have totally forgot where I'm up to. Totally forgot what I've done and what I haven't. It's no good for me, that. But like I say, our weather has been shocking. We've had storms, so 1 minute it's been too dark to see anything. Right, I need to make that tag smaller or make that pocket bigger. I'm going to make the tag smaller because I did put the tab on slightly, not in the centre, so making the tab smaller is preferable. I like to put the biggest possible journal card in everything, and sometimes it just doesn't work. Get your corner rounder. I won't be able to get corner rounder on that, so I'm going to have to freehand that one, which of course is what you would do if you don't have a corner rounder and you want rounded corners. It's not as difficult as it looks. It's not perfect, but the corner rounding police won't be at your door. I've just heard thunder again. That's better. It slips in much easier now. Have I made it a little bit too... That should fit in nicely. I don't know what's going off in there that won't fit. Maybe I've got a bit of... There we go. I thought maybe I've got a bit of glue where I shouldn't have had a bit of glue. And that one should fit in nicely. There we go. Right, so that's that. Got one there. You could put a tab on that if you wish. I may do that after. We've got that. I've done a little bit less decorating on that than the other one. That is going to be glued to the back of my book if I have this as a fold out in a book. Right, let's put it... Right, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so yeah, there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. The decorating is what took the longest. The actual base is pretty quick and simple, and the decorating is something that you can do completely to your style. You don't have to do it exactly as I've done it. In fact, I've done this one slightly different to how I did the original. I found that now. I covered it up when I was tidying. There we go. So that's that. Don't know what I've done with tag out of that one. I will find it ready for thumbnail. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. It's a simple project made to look far less simple than it actually is, I hope. That was the plan. I hope I've achieved that. If you like this project as well, take a look at my playlist for my one-sheet projects. You're sure to find others there that you'll enjoy. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.